What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Every Week We Follow. We are melting here in the UK, but we are plowing through. Gary has put a t-shirt on just so that we can talk to you guys. As always, if you are new here, please do hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and let us know in the comments what you think. The main things we are going to be talking about here are England, last night, how the performance was, and just go over the game a little bit. And then also to talk about, inevitably, Morgan Rogers, both for England, and also some of the things that are doing the rounds around Villa as well. Oh, also links to players such as Emerson Royale. So we can talk about that as well. But Gary, how are you doing? Melting? Is the sweat basically running down your back right now?
Yeah, mate. You're lucky I'm not sitting here butt naked, mate. If I'm honest, I don't want to scare everybody away. It's like we were just talking off camera. Like 25 degrees is my optimal temperature of working. Anything above that, now we're in 34. I'm literally sat in my bedroom with the curtains closed, trying to reflect the heat away from my house so I can just breathe. I haven't slept. Like it's just I need air conditioning, mate. That's the way forward.
Come stay at us one night this week.
Maybe that's just to get some sleep, mate. I'm going to James to sleep in your office, mate. Yeah. Aircon full on, blow me in the face.
Has Pete told you, by the way, that these aircon installations have been cancelled?
Yeah. Mate, I laughed. I said, heat wave come in. You're having it done at the end of the week. It'll be freezing. You won't need it.
It's been cancelled because apparently it's too complex. I was like, oh, God. But yeah, anyway. Yes, it is hot. We all know it's hot. But let's talk quickly about the hydration break fiasco. Like, because there was like a lengthy injury before it happened.
Yeah, common sense does not prevail, does it? Just go straight to after the hydration break, why that's happening. And at first, I thought the referee was just used the stoppages as the hydration break because it went on to 26 minutes almost before he then called it. And I was like, obviously that must have meant it was 22 minutes of ball actually in play, whatever, right? Mate, it's fucking stupid.
Like, the Americans are stupid. You also had to wait. Like, I think we were ready to take the throw in, and he said, no, it's got to go back because we've got to wait another 4 seconds because I'm guessing the ants are running. It was just rubbish. I mean, we'll talk about the game now, but like, I was speaking to Josh earlier. So for those who don't know, Josh is a fan of the channel, he's a friend of ours, runs like a totally separate channel, but he's been very supportive of us. But I think his things were Ghana defended really well. You can't underestimate how good that was. A clean sheet for us was really important. I'll kind of go over that a little bit. But the big thing that kind of like he said, we couldn't get any rhythm because there was like 84 stoppages in total. Because there was like 26 free. We had 57 set plays. The 26 free kicks, 22 throw-ins, and 9 corners. They had 16 free kicks. There was 42 free kicks in that game. So how does anyone get any kind of rhythm? Plus the hydration breaks. How does anyone get any kind of rhythm going? That was kind of his point, is that their game plan was very much defend, break up the play, try and ruin England's rhythm, get into their like heads a little bit. I know their manager had a comment, I think, after the game, something about they knew they had us at half-time mentally, which I think is a load of rubbish, by the way. But what are your thoughts on England's performance yesterday?
First of all, fair play to Ghana. They defended really well, and they came to probably get a point, but would have, if they could have got a smash and grab, they should have done. They should have had a penalty, by the way, Konza. I think looking that back, that's 100%. If that's against us, you'd be fuming.
It wasn't even looked at.
It wasn't even looked at, mate. Just waved on. Yeah, it's weird. But none of the Ghana player didn't even complain either. It was so weird because it's probably one of the most blatant penalties you see. Konza's in the air, doesn't touch the ball at all, hits his thigh, takes him clean out, mate. Like it's
bizarre. I mean, even the Pickford one. I mean, that was terrible as well. I don't understand.
I don't think that was as bad. In fact, if anything, I'd say that their player missed the ball and kicked Pickford, so I think that's why. Looking back on that one, but my overall assessment of England was poor, mate. And I know, and for reason being, I tell you what, it felt like I was watching. It felt like I was watching the Villa, right?
Mate, this is those first 5 games.
Yeah, where the tempo was so slow.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, all the things you just said, right? Fuck me, you're in the World Cup. Every game should be played at 1,000,000 miles an hour. I don't care what it is, how many hydration breaks you need. unacceptable,
21
mate.
degrees. It was raining.
Mate. I don't understand the lack. I think Tommy Tuchel got the selection wrong. I agreed with the changes with Gay and O'Reilly. Fair enough, right? But this is, after the first half. Well, even if you go, okay, you start with that team after. You bring them out after half time. I think Jason Cunny said this on Talk Sport. After 50 minutes, you go, this ain't working. We need to change it. The substitutions were far too late. Rodgers actually looked okay when he came on, when he got on the ball, right? As did what Marcus Rashford. Play them from the start against Panama. Go out there and smash them, because you don't win a World Cup by being like he was not watching the Gareth Southgate team again. Let's keep possession. Let's play side to side. Let's not. There was one incident in the, I think it was first half, and Reece James had the ball on the right, and he could have gone 1v1, and instead he just turned back and fucking played the ball back. Mate, they were obviously filling that space, right? The ball had to be moved quicker. We had to try something. Again, and I said this before the tournament kicked off, right? That why, if you play Bellingham, he should not be in the same position as Declan Rice and Elliot Anderson. We do not need 3 holding midfield players against a team that are playing 9 at the back. You need creativity, and ultimately, mate, we lacked all of that, right?
We lacked creativity. We lacked tempo. We didn't need the two pivots. We just didn't need that. Like, we needed another body in and around it, moving them around, trying to get some kind of movement or spreading them and using that width. Like,
to be fair to Tommy Tuchel,
one of the best chances we had, Madueke got to that byline, crossed it in, and it headed over. Like, that was one of the best chances we had.
Yeah. Well, mate, even I think at the start of the second half, Tuchel's going mad at Jed Spence, right? Because he plays the ball forward and then just stands still. He's like, no. And Jed ignores him. He's like, Jed, pass and move forward. Like, and so if the players don't do it, right, then that's a different kettle of fish, right? So last night after the game, I was like, that's the wrong selection. But at the same time, he picks the team, right? So it's on him a little bit. I don't understand. Like, it's the same with the Villa. I know there's a way of playing. If you want to play possession-based football, no problem with that. But you've got to play at the right tempo. Other teams are doing it. They're moving the ball quicker, and we just, and I didn't think I'd come. The Harry Kane chance, mate. He has to score. Like, Sarah's like, you can't go mad at him for that. I said, look. He's the world's best, arguably the world's best striker.
I think he is. Right? He is the best as a striker. He is the world's best striker.
Right, he had done nothing all game. So when that moment arises, that has to hit the back of the net. It has to hit the back of the net. It's unacceptable. Right, I don't care if people say you're being too harsh. He is a world class striker. That was an easy opportunity. He leant back. He was looking like the net was going to bulge before he even focused on the thing. And that is poor. Ollie Watkins could have done that. I expect that from Ollie Watkins because it's a snap finish. From Harry Kane, that has to wrestle in the back of the net. And this is
the thing that it's interesting. I saw, I can't remember what channel it was, but it was on a short, and they were talking about Harry Kane in big moments. He obviously fluffed it against France. Yeah. Even the penalty against Croatia, first time of asking, fluffed it. And this one, fluffed it. And it's just frustrating because it looks, I was looking at, obviously, the World Cup this year. I was like going, all the big guns are turned up. Mbappe's banging them in. Messi's banging them in. Haaland's banging
Ronaldo
them in.
Yesterday.
Yeah, and even Kane in the first game was banging them in. I was like, cool, right, we're up for it. Just didn't, yesterday. It was just frustrating. I know, like Josh made the point of Ghana played incredibly well. They defended really well. They were very well organised. I was like, and he was like, we should, do you know, and he was like, do you know how hard it is to get a clean sheet? And I was like, if you told me that game, the absolute minimum I was expect would be a clean sheet. I was like,
this is tournament. Tournament football, right, is just, I get it, right, goal difference will count, but we are supposedly going to win the group. We don't need, we just need to go and outscore teams like we did against Croatia. Like, I'd rather concede 2 and score 4 than have a 0-0 draw, right, and loud teams look at us and go, well, that's how you play against England.
I mean, we obviously, we tried. It's not like we played defensive or anything, but
no,
it was just didn't see the thing that I was like, why didn't anyone have a pop? No, there wasn't like shots, like kind of like what we had with Villa, right? Earlier in the season, and then we were like, well, teams are bit back on us, so let's try and shoot on sight and make something happen. And we just started banging in worldies, and I was kind of sitting there going, this game needs a moment of magic and a worldie. And I was like, get Rodgers on the pitch. I know we're here looking at it from claret and blue tinted glasses, but that, in my opinion, other than the goal that Bellingham scored against Croatia, I think he's been lightweight. I think he's been poor. I think he's been knocked off the ball. I think he's been sloppy in possession. And I'm like, get Rodgers on the pitch. He came on and he looked positive and he was picking up some nice positions. He was playing some nice passes. There was a lot of movement. And then you're right, Rashford as well made a difference. Gordon has been completely anonymous in all of these games, both of these games so far. It'll be interesting to see if he does change it up for Panama. I'd expect him to, but I'm not sure.
Mate, we'll still go through. The fact of the matter is, we had moments in the game yesterday that were okay, but ultimately the quality wasn't there. And yes, Ghana did play they defended really, really well. But I would still expect England to have the quality to up the level, up the tempo, and play through that team. Because, like you said, there was a couple of times Medawaki got through and created a good cross whip, but the quality at the end, the actual end product was pretty poor. We didn't work hard enough to create enough space. We made it easy for them to defend against. Do you know what I mean? We played in front of them rather than through them. Alan Shearer said it in commentary, mate.
Yeah, and I often think, like we said before, I mean, this is what saved Villa's season this season. I look at that starting lineup yesterday, and I just don't feel like there's anyone that was going to produce a moment of magic if we needed it.
Yeah.
There's no one there who was going to do something different, or like we said, like a worldie or some kind of epic moment. There was just no one there who's going to do that.
Mate, it was just disappointing after the second half against Croatia because I thought we looked really good. There was tempo to our play. You know, for 20 minutes in that second half, we peppered them. And there was none of that yesterday. Like there was
a 5-minute spell, wasn't there, where it felt like we just like upped the urgency a bit, and that's when we got that chance at the 85th minute. Like those changes were made at like the 80th minute or 75th minute. And then we started to look a little bit more direct and a little bit more urgent, trying to get the ball forward quicker, and we were doing things faster. And it looked better. But we just didn't seem to have that urgency in the rest of the game. Oh, I don't know. Your audio's gone, mate. Your audio's gone.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I think my transmitter just died. I'm back. It won't be as good because Anyway, I think it was. I just felt frustrated a little bit because not because it's the end of the world. Like it's a 4 points, still top of the group. Like we'll go through comfortably. I think we'll beat Panama. Although Panama, to be fair, I watched the majority of that game against Croatia yesterday, and they lost 1-0. But they were not scared to have a go, mate. They lack quality, but they had a go.
We're better at much like Villa. We're better though against teams that do that. So
yeah. Well, exactly. But this is what I'm saying. We've talked about this throughout the whole season about the Villa, right? When a team plays a low block against you, they want you to play slowly. They want you to kind of just play in front of them. It's easy. Like I said, you make it easy for them to defend. It has to come down to hunger and desire to move those defenders around. And it wasn't that it was like a scorching day yesterday and they were playing in intense heat. Like you said, 21 degrees, it was raining, perfect footballing conditions, mate. And we just didn't do enough. We did not do enough in that game. That was a really poor England performance for me. I thought it was lackluster. I thought players didn't step up. You know, like you said, Bellingham, it's amazing how lightweight he is, how easily he gets knocked off the ball. And then when Rodgers came on, there was a moment where he picked the ball up, shrugged off 3 defenders, and broke through and played a ball out to Rashford, who played across it. I think we got a corner, right? You know, that's what you need, that ability, because when you've got 9 men behind the ball, unless you beat 1 or 2 of them, they'll keep their shape. And you say Ghana played well. I would expect any professional football team to be able to keep a shape. Do you know what I mean? Like,
this is kind of my point. Is like, yes, they defended well and they're a physical team and that, but I think nowadays with how teams are now, like we've seen it in English football, even with Championship or League One in like domestic cups. The one thing they are now is fit and well organised. They're the two things that they are.
Bare minimum, right?
Yeah, and you can. Yeah, and I was like, this is the bare minimum. That is literally like the base expectancy. You're in a World Cup, and yes, okay, some teams, you know, San Marino or whoever won't do that, but Ghana are no pushovers. But like, you have to have a plan to do that. And I'm kind of sitting there going, well, is this it then? People are just going to look at this and just go, well, if we defend really well and we catch them on the break,
that's it. That's it,
like,
mate. You just give teams a blueprint to beat England, because unless it wasn't even a secret. We knew that's how Ghana were going to play yesterday. Like there was no that they were going to come out and attack us. It's a different kettle of fish. So you put it down to Tommy Tuchel football selection, because he should have selected 11 players that were willing to go out there and run their asses off. And I felt it in the first 10 minutes. I thought, fucking hell, we're so lethargic. It's just it's wishy-washy, tippy-tappy, fucking side-to-side football.
Because there's a difference between. So they obviously talked a lot about patience, and I think at half time they were talking about patience. There's a difference between patience though and just lethargy and just kind of going through the motions.
But mate, watch that. Go and watch the highlights back in the first half, in particular. Right, when we moved the ball up past the halfway line, right, no one was moving. There's no runs. No. It was like you're patient because you want your forward players to be making continual runs to be try and picked out. Kane, Gordon, Madueke just want the ball to feet and then try and beat a player. You go, well, look, okay, we've got that's okay in terms when it's 1v1, but that wasn't the case. They were doubling up against you. So now you've got to try and move a little bit to create the space to go 1v1, right? Or you look to get that ball in behind, which was tough yesterday because they played with 9. So it's the first option, movement. And what he found was Konza or Gay or whoever had the ball in defence would pass it into midfield, would get to the halfway line, nothing, so recycle. And that's not patience, that's fucking boring football. Like it's like, no, you're not working hard enough. I watched Anthony Gordon make one run and he went to spinning behind, didn't get the ball, and then just walked back. Like you go, you can't do that. Like it's so easy to defend against. Like it just shows even at the highest level, mate, that these players, it's all down to that personal heart and desire. And I think if you look over the tournament with the games like Argentina, even America in that first game, the intensity which they play at.
Argentina are a prime example. They're just all hot and they just keep going and they don't stop.
Just keep going. And they play. They've got a system. They're utilising Messi, but those players, it's relentless, mate. And they just, and obviously you get Messi on the ball where he can hurt teams in things. It doesn't matter how you play against him because people are so cautious against him, and that's what we didn't do. We're not, like you said earlier, like which player on that team yesterday was the one that you're going to feed the ball to, who's going to hold that the Ghanaians were going, oh fucking hell, we've got to double up against these. It was just easy for them. So they defended really well, but again, more expectation. England, for me, simply were not good enough. As good as Ghana defended, we should have been able to break them down. They played into, you go, we know they're going to play. We've got quality and we know we've got quality, but unless that quality works hard, it's that thing, isn't it? That obsession beats talent every day. They're all talented, mate. They're all, but if they're not obsessed with being the best and wanting to win this tournament, that's the performance you get, and it's got to be better. And it's like I say, it's just a shame because that second half performance against Croatia, I thought was excellent, and and I thought, oh, something different here. We've changed it, and he changed it sooner. It was like 60, 65 minutes. He made subs against Croatia, so I was surprised that it went as long as it did to get the subs on.
Yeah, I mean, he said he was happy with how, and obviously he's going to say that because he needs to keep the confidence up and stuff. But I think, last point, I think, it, like we said, doesn't decide anything in the tournament. We'll still get out of the group, and then so it doesn't matter a huge amount. Tournament football is very, at this stage, is about getting through. Like he said, it's about getting out of the group. Get out of the group, and then you get onto knockouts, and then that's where it really does matter. But yeah, apparently, I think it's something like the last 3 tournaments, we've won our first game and then drew the next one 0-0, something like that. Yeah, something great. So,
look, like you said, all that matters.
We got to a final and 2 semi-finals doing that. So,
well, yeah, but not over the line. We're sort of looking for something different, mate. Like that's the key, right? And it, like you say, all that matters when we get to that knockout stage is that we don't see performances like that you see the heart, and you've got to go out there and try and beat teams. Because and we should do, because the better teams won't sit back and play a low block. Anyone in the last 16 is not going to play a low block, are they? So it'll be a bit more open and entertaining, hopefully.
Yeah. Right, on to Morgan Rogers. So there's various reports going around. Obviously,
Morgan Rogers, the shittest chant in the world.
Obviously, if you are an Arsenal fan, you believe you're going to get Morgan Rogers for about 80p. But just on But obviously, we've had stuff where some people reports coming out saying we're not going to accept anything less than 100. And then Wes Eden's apparently has come out and said basically just not for sale. Whether that's just us digging in and playing hardball and trying to get the maximum we can for him, or whether there is something in that and we're looking at selling likes of Emi Martinez, potentially Ian Matson, and then other players to allow us to give us that kind of wiggle room to try and do something and keep him for at least another season.
Yeah, mate. Look, everyone's got a price. I don't care what the media say. But this is why I don't like talking about it. But it was nice to see the Villa come out and have a stance on it and say he's not for sale, right? Which means they've whatever pansy-ass ATP offer they've put on the table, they need to go away and seriously think about it, right? So I think that's just us playing hardball because everyone's got a price. And I still sit on the side of it. If anything in excess of 100 million comes in, he's gone, and that won't be his choice. I don't even think it's necessarily he wants to leave. I think I've said this before. I think he loves Unai Emery. I think he's very happy at Villa. However, everyone's got a price, and that just is what it is. But yeah, nice to see Wes Eden's come out and say he's not for sale. Let's see where it's going to be interesting. But like I said, none of this will come to fruition until after the World Cup anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And then just on Emerson Royale, the links have been apparently we've made it.
Is that a burger from Burger King? Emerson Royale. What the?
Well, apparently we've made an official bid
Emerson
of
Royale. Special offer, double Emerson
Royale with cheese. I think it's like this 7 million or 7.8 million pound bid officially.
From where? I don't know. Who's like?
Is it Flamengo? Is that?
I don't know.
Brazil. So apparently they want more or whatever. I don't know. He was terrible at Spurs. I'm guessing obviously he's a new backup for Cash, which allows us to move Garcia on. Is that an improvement? Maybe got a bit more experience. Like,
mate, do you know what? In things like this, in Emery we trust. He's been shit everywhere. But
yeah, well, this is why I said I had a mate who's a Spurs fan, and he messaged me going like this, and I was just like, look, if Emery sees something and thinks he's going to do a job for us and he can do something for us, then. I mean, everyone thought the same when we signed Lindelof.
Until they play, because with Lindelof, I was like, this is the worst signing ever. I went out, what we're doing? He was rubbish at Man United, and then turned out to be arguably one of our best players last season. So,
well, there was people said similar stuff about Disassi as well when we signed him, and he did a job.
At centre back, at right back, mate.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, but this is what happens when you play players in their position.
Yeah, fucking Disassi.
Yeah, bloody hell against City. Anyway, anything else you want to touch on at all?
No, I don't think so. I
think we're all good.
Well, I just is there anything else Villa related?
I don't think so.
We've
still not got a sponsor, by the way. There's been no news or anything about sponsor. That's
not going to be an overnight thing. I tell you that for free.
Chelsea playing with no sponsor on the front.
I think we'll play a few games, if not probably half the season, without a sponsor. I think it's trying to kind of
afford that. We can't afford it.
Maybe we can't, but it's getting the right one.
The less games there are to play in their shirt, and also the more shirts that are out there without a sponsor on, the less a sponsor wants to pay.
Well, of course, but it may well be as well. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but maybe it will all try and be put in place with the Champions League. Maybe there's negotiations going on behind closed doors because we didn't know what European competition we're going to be in. Now that's happening, and now people are probably having discussions about it. Whatever it is. I mean, maybe we can't afford it, but I still think in terms of. And I got crucified for this last time. What are we looking at? 20, 40 million quid, right, for a shirt sponsor potentially, right? Yeah. Between that, that's what Patano paid. It's all unless it is just for a PSR, SCR thing to balance the books. That's the only reason you'd get as a shirt sponsor. Go back to Acorns, man, or the Aston Villa Foundation. Do something that's fucking community-based led. And all this fucking money nonsense where, it's player wages and stuff and the TV stuff, which is where all the money goes and comes from. Like, the sponsor should be something, I feel, that's giving back. I just do. Like, when we did it with Acorns in 2010 and 11, I thought it was awesome, and it's, and I get, I've got a soft spot for Acorns. We know that because of how much support they've given us as a family. But I'd just like to see something like that You know, where a world it's all about money, surely. And in the comments it'll be, oh no, we need the fucking money and all that bollocks. Like, well, do we really? Like, is that going to be the one that defines us the most, the shirt sponsor? I guess it's all about initiating it. But how cool would it be? And maybe I'm living in a utopian world where they talk about initiating sponsors. So you have Acorns and actually, God forbid, the Villa actually go in and work with families that are struggling and fucking, you know, can't get to games because they've got disabled kids, you know, creating safer environments and disabled. So they won't do that because of space and time and money. But wouldn't it be nice in the back room of it, they could just make that effort and make a real effort to put money towards Acorns, develop their centres, because they need money for nurses and fucking facilities and all that kind of stuff. There's only fucking 3 hospices in the Midlands. Do you know what I mean? Like, they could build another hospice, attach it to Villa Park so disabled kids can fucking go there and watch games with medical team staff around them. Like, there's again, utopia, mate, but that's what I'd love to see happen.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't see it with the already reduced revenue with the stand being built.
Mate, it will never happen. That's just my personal preference. I'd just like to see in a world where there's trillionaires being fucking produced, right? And people, I know we only care about ourselves. It would be nice to see these people give something a little bit back to the fans that make it, because without us, that it's nothing, right? Yet they fleece us and fucking reduce it and all that kind of stuff, and then bring the bullshit about PSR and money.
Don't you remember the lovely blue bin bags that we got to wave on a stick though? They were brilliant.
No expense spared of them flags, mate. Like, fuck me.
Oh God!
Cut in half and strapped
anyway,
sellotape to a plastic pole.
Yeah, it was so bad. Anyway, on that,
they literally
that
don't give a shit.
That was some apprentice's job. That was. Anyway, Gaz,
someone forgot to order the flags and had a last minute fucking.
We will be back actually. Obviously, Saturday, I think, Panama game. So we will try and do a preview before that, and then we'll do a post match after that. Well, we'll probably do our usual Monday weekly thoughts to round up on that. But as always, if you are new here, please do hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. Let us know what you think down in the comments. Not that anyone watches these, because no one gives a crap about England. So let's just get excited for the new season when it comes about. And I'm sure as the tournament goes on, more and more people will get interested, but I think at this point, no one cares.
Well, maybe, mate. We'll see how it goes. But look, we can just start looking forward to pre-season with all those fixtures out we talked about and last show, and we can start doing shows about the Villa again and all that. And you know, when the speculation starts getting a little bit thicker, maybe we can talk about it. Do you know what I mean? Because there will be something to talk about rather than
at the moment it's just conjecture. So there's so much stuff going on. But yeah, so final thoughts. Take us out, mate.
Final thoughts. Come on, England, sort yourself out for Panama. Let's go at them and smash them, because, you know, it's tournament football and he who dares wins. There you go. And as always, until the next one, every week we follow the boys in the USA. Peace.
See ya.